For 5 legendary seasons, they were our TV family, bringing joy to Detroit and to millions of us. But behind the bright studio lights and wild slapstick humor, a much darker nightmare was quietly unfolding. Today, the stars of Martin have been broken by life in ways no one saw coming, from massive Hollywood triumphs to the most crushing, heartbreaking losses that still haunt every fan. The transformations are brutal. Grab your tissues and prepare to cry. Tap play now before you miss the tragic reality that changed everything. Martin Lawrence as Martin Payne. Born on April 16, 1965 in Frankfurt, West Germany, the dynamic comedian and actor first rose to prominence in the stand-up circuit and early films before creating his own generation-defining sitcom. At the age of 27, Lawrence's portrayal of Martin Payne, an arrogant yet lovable Detroit radio DJ, became a massive cultural touchstone of the 1990s. The sitcom Martin offered a hilarious, authentic depiction of black friendship, romance, and hip-hop culture, introducing unforgettable catchphrases like, "You go girl," and "Wazzup" into the mainstream. His unparalleled physical comedy, which included playing multiple wildly different characters like Shanina Jenkins Jerome and Mama Payne, cemented his status as one of television's brightest stars. Despite his character's exuberant, carefree, and supremely confident nature, Martin Lawrence's personal life behind the scenes was increasingly marred by intense pressure and internal turmoil. The extreme demands of carrying the show and performing multiple roles, combined with the stress of sudden superstar fame, took a severe toll on his mental health, creating a stark contrast between his joyful on-screen persona and his real-life struggles. By the mid-1990s, Lawrence experienced a series of highly publicized breakdowns, including erratic behavior, hospitalization for extreme exhaustion, and a frightening incident where he wandered into busy Los Angeles traffic with a loaded gun. These personal struggles culminated in severe professional hardship when his co-star, Tisha Campbell, filed a sexual harassment lawsuit against him. This off-screen fracture permanently damaged the show's dynamic, leading to a bizarre final season where the two stars refused to film scenes together, ultimately forcing the hit series to a premature cancellation in 1997. Martin Lawrence eventually overcame his mid-90s hardships, continuing his career to become a massive movie star with blockbuster hits like the Bad Boys franchise and Big Mama's House. Over the years, he prioritized his health, focused on raising his 3 daughters, and notably reconciled with Tisha Campbell, allowing the beloved cast to reunite for an emotional 30th anniversary special in 2022. As of 2026, at the age of 60, he remains a celebrated Hollywood icon and a respected elder statesman of comedy. Having recently co-starred in the 4th Bad Boys installment, Bad Boys Ride or Die, Lawrence continues to enjoy his enduring success, living a much more peaceful, grounded life while embracing his monumental legacy as a trailblazer in black comedy. Tracy Morgan as Hustle Man. Born on November 10, 1968 in the Bronx, New York, the comedian and actor first brought Hustle Man to life on the hit sitcom Martin in 1994. At the age of 25, Morgan's portrayal of the neighborhood purveyor of questionable goods became a cultural touchstone for 90s television, offering hilarious items like roasted pigeons on a tree branch and greeting everyone with his signature, "What's happening, Chief?" Hustle Man provided a prime-time depiction of the relentless street hustler that was both absurd and unforgettable. Across his recurring appearances, Morgan's improvisational comedic timing and bizarre sales pitches defined a character that remains one of the show's most iconic and quotable figures. Despite the character's carefree, relentless hustle and bombastic street corner antics, Tracy Morgan's real-life personality was heavily shaped by profound tragedy and an underlying emotional vulnerability. While Hustle Man never let anything keep him down and always had a ridiculous scheme to get by, Morgan had to use humor as a vital coping mechanism to process the devastating deaths of his father and a close friend during his youth, making his deep personal struggles a stark contrast to his character's cartoonish invincibility. His career was also marked by professional hurdles. After a successful stint on Saturday Night Live, he struggled to carry his own network vehicle, facing the professional sting of cancellation when The Tracy Morgan Show was abruptly dropped after just 1 season. Furthermore, he battled the challenge of being typecast as the erratic, outlandish hood caricature he popularized, which for a period made it difficult for him to secure varied mainstream work until he managed to subvert those expectations on later sitcoms. Tracy Morgan continued to work in television and film for decades, experiencing both massive career resurgences and profound personal trials. He found immense success starring as an exaggerated version of himself on the acclaimed NBC sitcom 30 Rock, and later led the comedy series The Last OG. In his personal life, Morgan survived a horrific near-fatal highway collision in 2014 that forced him into a grueling physical and cognitive rehabilitation, briefly halting his career and making his return to the stage a miraculous feat. He has 4 children and has navigated a highly publicized personal life, including a divorce from his second wife, Megan Wallover, in 2020. At 57, Morgan remains a resilient and active presence in the entertainment industry, continuing to perform stand-up comedy nationwide and taking on new acting roles, solidifying a lasting legacy that began with selling questionable items on a television street corner. Tichina Arnold as Pamela James. Born on June 28, 1969 in Queens, New York. Tichina. Arnold first established herself as a talented young actress and singer before landing her career-defining role on the hit sitcom Martin in 1992. At the age of 23, Arnold's portrayal of the sharp-tongued, fiercely loyal, and confident Pamela "Pam" James became a cultural touchstone. Her legendary comedic timing and unforgettable roasting matches with Martin Lawrence's titular character offered a prime-time depiction of a strong, independent black woman, making her a hilariously significant staple of 90s television and an enduring fan favorite. Despite the character's famously combative, unapologetic, and highly confrontational nature, Tichina Arnold's real-life personality, while certainly vibrant and energetic, is deeply grounded, warm, and far less abrasive than the constantly sparring Pam. This contrast was a notable part of her journey as she navigated the entertainment industry. Following the massive success of Martin, Arnold faced the struggle of being heavily typecast as the sassy best friend, which for a period made it difficult for her to secure leading roles that showcased her broader dramatic and comedic range. The conclusion of Martin also brought immense professional distress. The hit show's 5th and final season was derailed by a highly publicized rift and sexual harassment lawsuit between her co-stars Martin Lawrence and Tisha Campbell. The deeply uncomfortable on-set dynamics ultimately led to the show's cancellation, bringing a disheartening and fractured end to a beloved series. Tichina Arnold persevered through these industry hurdles to build a prolific and enduring career, balancing her professional triumphs with a fulfilling personal life. She found massive success playing the strict but loving matriarch Rochelle on Everybody Hates Chris from 2005 to 2009. And later went on to star in acclaimed series like Happily Divorced, Survivor's Remorse, and the hit CBS sitcom The Neighborhood. Off-screen, she is a devoted mother to her daughter Elijah Kai and has navigated personal challenges with public grace, including a highly publicized divorce in 2016. At 56, she is celebrated as a resilient and versatile Hollywood veteran who continues to entertain audiences and solidify her legacy as a television comedy icon. Tisha Campbell as Gina Payne. Born on October 13, 1968 in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, and raised in Newark, New Jersey, the talented actress, singer, and dancer first gained fame in films like School Days and House Party. At the age of 23, Campbell stepped into the role of Gina Waters in the hit 1992 sitcom Martin. Her portrayal of the smart, driven, and sophisticated public relations executive provided the perfect grounded counterbalance to Martin Lawrence's frenetic comedic energy. Gina became an emblem of 90s black professionalism and independence, and the dynamic between her and Martin cemented them as one of television's most beloved and iconic depictions of black love. While Gina was often the voice of reason and the stable anchor in her fictional relationship, Tisha Campbell's real-life experience on the show became fraught with intense personal and professional turmoil. Though naturally sweet, multifaceted, and deeply resilient, a contrast to the sometimes overly patient straight man she played on screen, Campbell faced immense hardship during the later years of Martin. The show's run was marred by her highly publicized sexual harassment lawsuit against her co-star, which led to a deeply uncomfortable final season, where the two actors refused to film scenes together, fundamentally altering the dynamic before the show's ultimate cancellation. Beyond this traumatic workplace environment, Campbell also had to navigate the struggle of being typecast as a sitcom girlfriend or wife, which at times made it difficult for her to find diverse dramatic work in an industry that frequently boxed actors into the comedic tropes that originally made them famous. Moving past the difficult end to Martin, Campbell built a remarkably enduring television career, later starring as the fiercely loving matriarch J. Kyle on the hit sitcom My Wife and Kids from 2001 to 2005. She also faced significant personal hurdles, including a highly publicized divorce from actor Dwayne Martin and navigating financial bankruptcy, but she persevered through it all. In recent years, she healed old wounds by reuniting with Martin Lawrence for the emotional Martin the Reunion special in 2022, and she has continued to shine in series like Netflix's Uncoupled. At 57, she remains a celebrated and beloved figure in Hollywood, consistently taking on new acting roles, co-hosting major events like the Soul Train Music Awards, and continuing to inspire fans with her enduring talent and unbreakable spirit. Thomas Mikal Ford as Tommy Strawn. Born on September 5th, 1964 in Los Angeles, California, the talented actor and comedian first gained widespread recognition on the hit 1992 sitcom Martin. At the age of 27, Ford's portrayal of Thomas "Tommy" Strawn became a beloved cultural touchstone, serving as the show's voice of reason and the loyal best friend to Martin Lawrence's titular character. Tommy's mysterious employment status spawned one of the most famous running jokes in 90s television. "You ain't got no job, Tommy." For 5 seasons, Ford's infectious laugh, comedic timing, and grounded presence helped define a golden era of black television. Despite playing a character famously known for being chronically unemployed, Thomas Mikal Ford was a remarkably hard-working individual with a Bachelor of Fine Arts from the University of Southern California and early aspirations of becoming a preacher. This stark contrast highlighted his acting range, but like many sitcom stars, he struggled with being heavily typecast after Martin ended. Escaping the immense shadow of Tommy proved difficult in Hollywood, where executives often saw him only as the lovable, jobless sidekick. Furthermore, the conclusion of Martin brought significant professional hardship. The show's final season was marred by a highly publicized lawsuit and intense off-screen tension between stars, Martin Lawrence and Tisha Campbell, leading to a fragmented cast, awkward final episodes, and a bittersweet cancellation that prematurely brought down the curtain on the iconic series. Thomas Mikal Ford continued to work in television and film for decades, securing recurring roles as Lieutenant Malcolm Barker on New York Undercover and Mel Parker on The Parkers, while also dedicating his later years to community upliftment. He founded a nonprofit organization, became a motivational speaker, and wrote inspirational children's books to promote positive choices among the youth. Tragically, Ford passed away at an Atlanta area hospital on October 12, 2016, at the age of 52 from a ruptured abdominal aneurysm. His sudden death occurred while he was actively recovering from knee replacement surgery and eagerly documenting his physical therapy progress for his fans. The unexpected loss sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry, prompting a massive outpouring of grief from his former castmates and fans, who fondly remembered him as the brilliant and deeply cherished heart of his television family. Carl Anthony Payne II as Cole Brown. Born on May 24, 1969 in Clinton, South Carolina, and raised in New York, the actor first gained recognition as Cockroach on The Cosby Show before landing his signature role. At the age of 23, Payne's portrayal of the lovable, dim-witted best friend Cole Brown became a cultural touchstone, offering a hilarious depiction of 90s camaraderie and urban life. For 5 seasons on Martin, his physical comedy affinity for colorful hats and unforgettable dynamic with his friends defined a character that remains one of black television's most iconic comedic sidekicks. Despite the character's famously slow-witted and unambitious nature, Carl Anthony Payne II was highly educated and driven, having graduated from New York's prestigious Fiorello H. LaGuardia High School of Music and Art and Performing Arts and studied at Howard University, making his real personality the polar opposite of Cole Brown. This stark contrast became a hurdle in his career as he faced the profound struggle of being typecast as the goofy, incompetent sidekick, which for a period made it difficult for him to find diverse acting roles after the show's run. The end of Martin itself brought a professional sting. The series concluded abruptly in 1997, amid a highly publicized and bitter backstage feud between stars Martin Lawrence and Tisha Campbell, resulting in a tense and disheartening cancellation to a groundbreaking 5-season journey. Carl Anthony Payne II continued to work in television and film for decades, marrying Malika Williams in 1992, with whom he shares children and successfully expanding his resume to include directing and producing. He took on recurring and starring roles in various series, playing Ronaldo St. James on the BET series The Game, and starring as Principal Miles Wilson on the Nickelodeon sitcom Tyler Perry's Young Dylan. Throughout the 2000s and beyond, he consistently toured the country as a stand-up comedian and appeared in numerous stage plays and independent films, even reuniting with his former castmates for the Martin the Reunion special in 2022. At 56, he is still actively working in the entertainment industry, regularly performing live comedy across the country and successfully maintaining a multifaceted career that has long outlasted the shadow of his iconic 90s character. Garrett Morris as Stan Winters. Born on February 1, 1937 in New Orleans, Louisiana, the veteran actor and comedian joined the cast of the hit sitcom Martin when it premiered in 1992. At the age of 55, Morris took on the role of Stan Winters, Martin Lawrence's notoriously cheap, loud suit-wearing boss at WZUP Radio. His portrayal of the eccentric and fast-talking station manager provided a seasoned comedic gravity to the show. Stan quickly became a beloved fixture of 90s black television, offering countless memorable moments and a hilarious foil to the show's young, energetic protagonist. Despite the slick, penny-pinching, and culturally unrefined nature of Stan Winters, Garrett Morris is a highly educated, classically trained singer who studied at the Juilliard School and began his career as an arranger for Harry Belafonte. This stark contrast between his sophisticated intellectual real-life background and his goofy on-screen personas was a significant part of his journey as he frequently battled the confines of typecasting throughout his career. During his trailblazing earlier years as an original cast member on Saturday Night Live, he struggled to get his writing on the air, felt creatively marginalized, and dealt with a difficult period of substance abuse. His professional journey on Martin was tragically cut short by a severe real-life hardship. In 1994, Morris was shot in the chest and intestines during an attempted robbery in Los Angeles. The near-fatal attack required multiple surgeries and a grueling physical recovery, abruptly forcing him out of the series and making it immensely difficult to work during the peak of the show's success. Following his arduous recovery, Morris eventually returned to the screen and rebuilt his career, proving his remarkable resilience. He spent years making guest appearances on popular shows like The Jamie Foxx Show and The Wayans Brothers, before landing another major television role as the wisecracking cashier Earl Washington on the CBS sitcom Two Broke Girls, which ran from 2011 to 2017. He also maintained his connection to his comedic roots with a cameo in the 2015 Marvel film Ant-Man, honoring his legacy as the first actor to ever portray the character in a 1970s SNL sketch. Over the years, he has continued to perform stand-up comedy and operated his own blues and comedy club in downtown Los Angeles. At 89, he is alive and enjoys his status as a venerated television icon, having recently been honored with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 2024 in recognition of his enduring legacy in entertainment. John Gries as Sean McDermott. Born on June 17, 1957 in Glendale, California, the versatile actor joined the cast of the hit sitcom Martin when it premiered in 1992. At the age of 35, Gries brought to life the quirky and eccentric radio engineer Sean McDermott. Working at the fictional WZUP radio station alongside Martin Lawrence's titular character Sean provided a hilarious, slightly awkward, and lovable contrast to the dynamic urban comedy happening around him. His presence during the first 2 seasons offered memorable cross-cultural comedic moments and cemented him as a beloved part of the show's early foundational success and massive cultural impact. While Sean McDermott was often portrayed as a hapless and goofy presence, John Gries is a deeply dedicated, thoughtful, and serious craftsman who grew up immersed in the industry as the son of writer and director Tom Gries. This stark contrast between his real-life grounded professionalism and his eccentric on-screen persona has been a recurring theme in his career. Gries experienced the common professional sting of television when the narrative focus of Martin shifted away from the WZUP radio station ahead of the 3rd season, resulting in his character being abruptly written out of the show. Furthermore, as he navigated the industry, he frequently faced the hardship of typecasting. After creating such vivid comedic oddballs, he sometimes found it difficult to secure work in serious dramatic roles, having to constantly fight to convince producers that his range extended far beyond playing the quirky sidekick. Despite these hurdles, Gries has maintained an incredibly prolific and enduring career across both film and television. He became a massive cult icon through his turn as Uncle Rico in Napoleon Dynamite and found sustained success on shows like The Pretender, Lost, Dream Corp LLC, and the Emmy-winning hit series The White Lotus. Outside of acting, he is known to be a private individual who enjoys a quiet, active lifestyle and has adhered to a vegetarian diet for decades. At 68, he is still heavily active in the entertainment industry, continuing to act direct independent projects and prove his remarkable versatility well beyond the radio engineer he played in the early 90s. Kimberly Newberry as Bernice. Born on August 14, 1962 in Los Angeles, California, the versatile actress first brought her talents to television before landing recurring appearances on the hit sitcom Martin, starting in 1992. At the age of 30, Newberry's portrayal of Bernice, the assertive and no-nonsense TV station assistant, became a memorable part of the show's cultural legacy. Martin offered a prime-time depiction of Black success, love, and community that was both hilarious and deeply significant. Newberry's sharp comedic timing in the chaotic WZUP radio station environment helped define a show that remains one of television's most iconic 90s sitcoms. Despite the quick-witted and straightforward nature of her characters on screen, Kimberly Newberry was always intensely academic and intellectually driven. Described by peers as a profound thinker whose real passions lay far beyond the sitcom stage, this contrast was a defining part of her personal journey. She found navigating the restrictive landscape of Hollywood to be a unique challenge, often facing the struggle of being typecast into functional roles such as nurses, assistants, and receptionists across dozens of hit shows. The unpredictability of guest-starring work and the industry's limited scope for Black actresses during that era eventually prompted her to seek fulfillment through intellectual and scholarly pursuits. Kimberly Newberry orchestrated a remarkable career reinvention, boldly stepping away from acting to pursue a deep-seated passion for art history and African American culture. She returned to school as a non-traditional student, earning her BA from Mount Holyoke College in 2016, followed by an MA and a PhD in African American Studies from the W.E.B. Du Bois Department at the University of Massachusetts Amherst. As of 2026, at the age of 63, she is thriving as Dr. Kimberly S. Newberry, serving as a respected art historian curator and visiting assistant professor of art history at the University of Richmond. Channeling her creative talents into groundbreaking curatorial work and decolonial theory, her current life is a vibrant testament to resilience and intellectual triumph far removed from her Hollywood past. Reginald Ballard as Brother Man. Born on October 13, 1965 in Galveston, Texas, the former college athlete first brought his comedic chops to the hit sitcom Martin, which premiered in 1992. At the age of 27, Ballard's debut as the slow-walking, window-climbing bro man from the Fifth Flow became a cultural touchstone. Known for holding up four fingers while claiming to live on the fifth floor, his deadpan delivery and habit of constantly taking Martin's food, clothes, and belongings offered a hilarious depiction of the quintessential neighborhood mooch. His signature fire escape entrances and delightfully unbothered demeanor defined a character that remains one of 90s television's most iconic and quotable figures. Despite the character's famously lazy and shiftless nature, Reginald Ballard was intensely disciplined and driven, acting as the polar opposite of Bruh Man in real life. A standout high school linebacker, he had earned a full football scholarship to Southern Methodist University, dedicating his youth to rigorous physical training and studying psychology and theater, rather than lounging around. This stark contrast was a significant part of his personal journey. Playing the deliberately lethargic character was completely counter to his athletic, hard-working reality. His career was also marked by the struggle of being typecast, which for a period made it difficult for him to find serious or varied work after the show's run. Audiences and casting directors alike so strongly associated him with the comedic neighborhood mooch archetype that breaking out of the mold proved to be a frustrating professional hurdle. Reginald Ballard continued to work in television and film for decades, finding further sitcom success in the recurring role of WB on The Bernie Mac Show and making guest appearances on series like Sister Sister and The Parkers. Remaining a dedicated family man, he shares 2 children with his wife, who has been his partner since high school. At 60, he is alive and actively touring comedy clubs across the country, regularly performing stand-up and sharing his Hollywood stories with fans. He also recently navigated a major health journey, experiencing a profound personal milestone when his wife proved to be a perfect match to donate a kidney to him. He continues to embrace his iconic status, forever celebrated for his hilarious contributions to television. Bentley Kyle Evans as caller number 1. Born on August 10, 1966 in Oakland, California, the Bay Area native first stepped into the entertainment industry as a production assistant before finding his way into the recording booth. At the age of 26, Evans lent his voice to the minor but memorable role of caller number 1 on the hit 1992 sitcom Martin. Though just a disembodied voice phoning into Martin Payne's WZUP radio show, the character became a vital piece of the show's cultural touchstone. The hilarious, often combative banter between Martin and his eccentric local callers provided a prime-time depiction of authentic community-driven black radio, adding a vibrant layer of comedic success to a series that remains one of television's most iconic 90s properties. Despite the character's loudmouthed heckling and extroverted on-air persona, Bentley Kyle Evans was an intensely driven, observant, and focused visionary described by his peers as the polar opposite of a random radio prankster. This contrast defined his true professional journey. Rather than seeking the spotlight as a boisterous performer, he found his real passion working quietly behind the camera. Early in his career, his trajectory was marked by the struggle of being pigeonholed as just a background extra or bit part actor, making it initially difficult for him to find steady work and be taken seriously as a creative architect. Furthermore, as he transitioned into writing and producing, he frequently battled the volatile nature of the television industry, enduring the painful reality of sudden network show cancellations and the constant struggle to keep diverse black-led programming funded and on the air during an era of shifting network priorities. Evans ultimately transcended his early minor acting roles to become one of the most prolific creators and producers in television history, building a lasting legacy far beyond his brief voiceover cameos. He went on to serve as the showrunner for Martin co-created The Jamie Foxx Show and launched successful sitcoms like Love That Girl and Family Time under his own production company, Bent Outta Shape, Inc. He is a dedicated family man and continues to work alongside his children, who are carving out their own successful paths in the entertainment industry. At 59, he is a highly respected executive producer and director, actively creating new content for streaming platforms like Netflix, and all BLK forever cemented as a legendary behind-the-scenes powerhouse rather than just a voice on the radio. Kellita Smith as Tracy. Born on January 15, 1969 in Chicago, Illinois, the actress and former model first built her television resume with various guest appearances before landing a recurring spot on the hit sitcom Martin. At the age of 25, when she debuted on the series in 1994, Smith's portrayal of Tracy contributed to a massive cultural touchstone that defined 1990s black television. Though a supporting character, her comedic timing and undeniable on-screen presence resonated with fans, helping to elevate a show that offered a primetime depiction of young, urban African-American life that was both hilariously unapologetic and highly significant. Despite her on-screen reputation for playing glamorous, highly extroverted, and fiercely outspoken women, Kellita Smith's real personality stands in sharp contrast to her famous characters. Intensely private and highly structured in her personal life, she has noted in interviews that she is nothing like the traditional wife or girlfriend figures she frequently portrayed, admitting she doesn't fully understand those dynamics as she has never been married. Her career was also marked by the struggle of being heavily typecast. Her early success as a sitcom love interest made it difficult for her to be taken seriously for gritty, dramatic, or action-oriented roles for many years. Additionally, she faced the harsh realities of the industry through sudden show cancellations, most painfully when her long-running hit The Bernie Mac Show was unceremoniously canceled without a proper series finale, abruptly forcing the cast to move on from a beloved television family. Kellita Smith pushed forward, continuing to work in television and film for decades, while successfully shattering her typecasting by starring as Sergeant Roberta Warren in Z Nation, making history as the first black woman to lead a sci-fi series on the Sci-Fi Network. Off-camera, she has never married or had children, choosing to keep her personal life completely out of the spotlight while focusing on stage and screen projects like Bounce TV's In the Cut. At 57, she is an active and respected veteran in the entertainment industry, celebrated for her resilience, her versatility, and her trailblazing journey through Hollywood. As we look back at the vibrant faces of 1992 and see where they are today, we realize that time moves fast, but legends remain eternal. The cast of Martin didn't just give us a show, they gave us a culture. Their evolution is a testament to the enduring power of laughter and friendship. If these memories brought a smile to your face today, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more nostalgic journeys through TV history.